Okay, so we have just gone over ser. So let's go ahead and do some practice with ser. Okay, and so just like before, I have my little ser chart down here. So we're going to change the spelling of ser to match our subject pronoun. So in each of these, we're saying, you know, and let me go ahead over here. Remember that ser is the same thing as is, am, whoops, and are. Okay, so ella blank de Mexico. So we know in all of these, we're going to want to put a form, we're going to want to put ser, but we want the spelling to match who our subject is. So I'm going to take it out. Okay, and our subject always comes before the verb when it's a statement. So this is a statement. So who is it that's from Mexico? It's going to be her. It's going to be ella. So if I go over to my chart, here's ella. The ser that I need is. So that's what I'm going to plug in here. That's how I say that she is from Mexico. Ella es de Mexico. Okay. Tu blank inteligente. Again, it's going to be a form of ser. Who is intelligent? The subject comes before the verb or before a blank, so it's you. So if I go over here, here's you. Here's the spelling of ser that I want, and that's what I'm going to plug in here to be able to say that you are intelligent. Okay. Here, yo blank de Puerto Rico. Who's from Puerto Rico? Again, the subject comes before the blank. It's yo. I go over here. Here's yo. Here's the spelling of ser that I would need to correctly say that I am the one who's from Puerto Rico. Yo soy de Puerto Rico. Now it gets a little trickier. Enrique y yo blank trabajadores. Who's actually hardworking this go round? It's going to be Enrique y yo. Okay, well, yo's in our chart, but Enrique is not. Yo means I. So like in English, whenever we have someone's name, if this was saying Enrique and I, that would be the same thing as saying we. And we in Spanish is nosotros, right? So I am going to, just so we remember, put up here, nosotros. Okay? So if I look at nosotros over here, somos is what I want to put in my blank. Somos trabajadores. Okay, if I scroll down here, ellos blank mis amigos, again, your subject comes before the blank, because when it's a statement, the subject comes before the verb. They are who are my friends. So if I look over here, here's ellos, I want son, and that's what I want to plug in the blank. Son. Ellos son mis amigos. So if I go up here, nosotros blank profesores, who are profesores? It's nosotros, because my subject comes before my blank. And I pick somos. Mis amigos blank cubanos. Who's Cuban? Mis amigos, which is the same thing as saying my friends. Well, my friends isn't in our chart. So whenever you end up with a noun as your subject, you're going to have to change it in your mind at least to a pronoun in order to use your chart. So my friends are Cuban. I can't say I couldn't replace my friends, you couldn't replace my friends, but they could. I could either say my friends are Cuban, or I could say they are Cuban, and the sentence gives you basically the same information. Well, they in Spanish is ellos, so I'm going to go over here and put ellos. Well, I can't type today. Ellos. Okay, so then if I scroll down here, here's ellos. Then son would be the spelling of ser that I would want. Okay, now, whoops. Not don. I don't know, I'm typing terribly. Son. Okay, so if I go down here, Juan blank Mexicano. Who's Mexicano? It's Juan. And again, I'm going to have to replace Juan with a subject pronoun. So if I change Juan to I, it's not making the same sentence. Saying that Juan is Mexican is not the same thing as saying that I am Mexican. But if I say Juan is Mexican or I change it to he is Mexican, that's the same thing. So I'm going to think of Juan as he. Oops. Okay. And so then if I go down here, here is he. I'm going to put es in here. Juan es Mexicano. Okay, and number 9, ustedes de Cuba. Who's from Cuba? Ustedes. If I go over here, here are ustedes. I would use son. Okay. Las mochilas blank rojas. What's red? It's going to be the book bags. Okay, and again, I'm going to have to change it. So what would make sense? If I say the book bags are red, if I change it to I am red, doesn't mean the same thing as the book bags are red. But if I say they are red, the book bags, they are red, that means the same thing. So I can think of las mochilas as they, which would be the same thing as ellos. So if I go down here, because remember ellos is they, what I've got is son. So that's what I want to plug in here. Las mochilas son rojas. Vosotros no blank de Canadá. Who's the subject is vosotros. So if I find vosotros in my chart, I need to write in sois. And the last one, usted blank de Colombia. Who's from Colombia is usted. And that's how you do that. Okay, so let's just make sure we've got everything that we need to know about Puerto Rico. I mean, not Puerto Rico, about the verb ser. Because the verb form indicates the subject of a sentence, subject pronouns are usually omitted unless they are needed for clarification or emphasis. For right now, I want you to use the subject pronoun because I think it helps you use your chart. But later on, as you can see, these spellings differ. So the only time that there's a problem is here. Is in third person because because son, well, because es could be for usted, ella, and son could be for ustedes, ellos, ellas. So there, when you say son or es, it's confusing as to who the subject is. But if I say soy de High Point, even if I left out the yo, you would still know who I was talking about because soy only goes with yo. And that's what they mean here. But for right now, to keep things simpler, I want you using them until you get really comfortable with how to conjugate verbs. Okay, so then they mentioned down here, there are 4 ways to express you: tú, usted, vosotros, vosotras, and ustedes. Tú and usted are the singular forms. Tú is used in informal situations to address friends, family members, and pets. Usted denotes formality or respect and is used to address someone with whom you are not well acquainted or a person in position of authority, a supervisor, a teacher, or an older person. Vosotros and ustedes, these are the plural forms. But in Latin America, ustedes is used for both the informal and formal plural you. Vosotros is used in Spain to address more than one person in an informal context, a group of friends or children. And I've actually been told that vosotros is used all the time, no matter what, in Spain. So pretty much if you're in Spain and you want to say you all are from Madrid, you would use vosotros. And if you're in Mexico and you want to say you are all from Mexico City, you would use ustedes. Ustedes son de la Ciudad de Mexico. Although tú is the most commonly used subject pronoun in Spanish to express the informal you in the singular, many speakers, like those in Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, and Central America, they don't put that in here, but like if you go to Honduras, Costa Rica, they use vos, and vos is different than vosotros. It's kind of in place of tú, and it's a little bit more informal. I don't think your book goes over it. Most books don't, but if you go to those countries, you're going to hear people using vos. It's just a little bit different. And then they tell you here that subject pronouns are not generally used for inanimate objects or animals, except when referring to pets. which is what we talked about. We just don't use a subject pronoun, period. We treat everything like a he or a she. And we talked about the abbreviation. They're using these abbreviations. If you see INF, it means it's informal. FOR means it's formal. So those are the abbreviations they'll use throughout your book to let you know if something's formal or informal. Nosotros, vosotros, ellos are masculine or masculine in a feminine group. Nosotras, vosotras, ellas are all feminine. So if there's like 100 girls in a group and there's one boy, you use the masculine form. But if it's all girls and there's no boy in the group, you would use the feminine form. In the families of some Hispanic countries, children use usted and ustedes to address their parents as a sign of respect. So what they're trying to tell you is that some countries are a little bit more formal than others. Some, the parents and children would use tú with each other, and some you might hear them use usted. Arriba uses ustedes as the plural of tú, except where cultural context would require otherwise. So you're going to see ustedes used more frequently, is what they're trying to say, than vosotros. They will indicate, like in the practice that we had, that they specifically want you guys using vosotros.